What's up, y'all? This is Chitty Bang, and I'm on the Renegade Millionaire Show, the podcast that profiles entrepreneurs, founders, and CEOs. Join us as we go one-on-one inside the hearts and minds of some of our generation's best and brightest. And now, introducing your host, my friend, Sun Group Wealth Partners Managing Director, CNBC and Forbes.com contributor, Winnie Sun.
Hi, everybody. It's Winnie Sun, your host on the Renegade Millionaire Show. We are taping again here in beautiful Venice Beach at TuneIn Studios. I'm excited to welcome you back. As you know, I'm financial advisor, managing director at Sun Group Wealth Partners, and you can follow me at winniesun.com. Well, I'll be posting my recent posts on Forbes, CNBC, all that good stuff. And so with that, let's start with the quick financial update. So, right now, a lot of people have been talking about setting up a pension plan. So what's a pension plan and what does it do? For those of you who might own your own business and have a reasonable income, it makes sense to take a look at a pension fund or pension plan, because this is a retirement plan that you could potentially utilize for you in your own company. How do you set one of these up? Super simple. You actually start with an employee census. You get the data of, who's working for you and who's not, ages and some other relevant information. You get that information over to a pension consultant, someone that usually for my clients, I'll send it to somebody that I know very, very well. And from there, we go ahead and get a calculation from them, and you have a pension option spreadsheet that'll show you how much you can contribute and potentially how much you could benefit in terms of tax credits and tax savings. So all that good stuff. From there, you fund it, and I can help you invest it. And with that, I am excited to start the show. Welcome, Del. Thank you for coming on the show. I'm really excited to introduce our guest today. Del Worsham is actually does something that I've been a huge fan of when I was in my younger years, more fun years. I guess, Del, you are one of only 3 funny car drivers to qualify for championship rounds in 24 funny car events in 2011. And you've done so much more than that, right, Del?
Yeah, I actually didn't know that, so that's great. It's been a good run. We've done pretty well, but we're still after the one big thing, and that's winning the funny car championship.
Oh, when is that?
Well, basically we race on a point system, all season long through our 24 races, and once we get to the 18th season or the 18th race of the NHRA Millionaire Series, then the points are kind of like restructured into where they tighten them all back up, and they take the top 10 cars and they let you race it out the last 6 races for the NHRA Millionaire Funny Car Championship.
Right. That's incredible. I remember watching this. So you were actually born here in Whittier, so you're really local. So you've been racing since, did I read this right? You've been racing since you were 13 years old?
Well, I was BMX racing, and I started drag racing. I started drag racing in 1990 at the age of 20.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but you were able to build an entire funny car motor at the age of 13 then?
Correct, yes. I raced with my father. He was a mechanic, and he was a partner in kind of like a local funny car around here, and grew up around the sport, watching everybody race at our local track out here in Irvine. It's called Orange County International Raceway. I used to go out there when I was a kid.
Very
grew up there, learned my way around the car, and in 1990 I started driving.
Wow! And those of you who don't know what a funny car is, Del, these are powered off alcohol, right?
These are actually nitromethane.
Okay.
We cut the nitromethane with 10% of alcohol, methanol. But nitromethane is a very powerful fuel that carries its own oxygen and just makes just abundant horsepower, in the range of 10,000 horsepower.
I mean, it's such a really fun race to watch. I know there's more women watching this sport now more than ever, but I remember watching, and it's so interesting because am I right? The whole shell of the car is up until you start racing.
Correct. Yeah. So
it looks like
we
the
have
lid
the whole
comes
frame.
up. So cool.
Right. We have the whole frame there, and the engine, everything like that, and then we have this carbon fiber shell, which our particular one is the Toyota Camry, and it sits on top of it, and that's what provides the aerodynamics and all the safety for you. So you drop the shell on top of you, and it latches down, and there's a little escape hatch you got at the top in case there's a problem, and you put it on there, and that's how it works.
It's incredible. So what brand of car are you driving?
I'm driving a Toyota Camry.
Oh, very cool. Well, that's interesting. I don't remember seeing that. So Toyota must be delighted to see their Camry being run on this level. That's incredible. I would never have thought that the Camry could go that quick.
Yeah, well, basically what it is, we use the engineers from Toyota, and they use their wind tunnels, their designs, and they build this carbon fiber shell that's based on the Camry to go on top of this frame and this engine, and that's how it works, So I mean, they do a good job helping us out. They have lots of engineers. They know what they're doing at Toyota. They know what we're looking for, what we need, and they're able to provide us with a competitive part.
Well, those of you who are listening or driving Toyota Camrys right now are probably on top of the world. Listen to this. That is so cool. So how quick are you on the quarter mile?
Well, the quickest I've been in so far, the quickest I've been is 3.98 seconds, and we actually had to shorten the track up. Yeah, we had to shorten the track up a couple of years ago because the cars speeds were getting so great and so fast that the tracks became dangerous. So we shortened it 320 feet, so now we're down to 1,000 feet. And I ran that in 3.98 seconds last weekend.
Oh, my goodness. So what you don't know, Dallas, when I was in college, I actually drove a Ford Mustang that had some fun things put into it. And I remember being told I think we were at 11 seconds. And that was already a big deal because we're just college kids. But goodness, under 4 seconds is insane. That's incredible.
Yeah, and 11 seconds is very fast.
It's pretty good.
Fast, especially a street car.
Yeah, it was streetable. We didn't drive on slicks. It was good. Yeah, that was back in the day. That's incredible. Well, let's talk about, I'm so interested to learn more about you. So right now, where are you living right now? In Chino Hills?
Nope, I live in Villa Park, California. It's just off the, it's just like
next to Orange. Oh, you're not too far from us. Yeah, because I'm in Irvine, but we're in LA today.
Okay, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, just down the street from Irvine Lake, yeah.
So let me ask you this. When did you realize you had a passion for race cars?
I knew at a very young age. I remember going to the drag races before we even had a race car with my dad. We lived in Laguna Hills, and there was a track in Irvine, and you could hear the dragsters and funny cars racing out there in the early 70s.
Where was there a track in Irvine?
Yeah, there was a track off San Canyon Avenue, or off San Canyon Irvine. And he'd take me out there, and we'd watch the funny cars and watch the dragsters, and we didn't even have a car. And I would say by the time I was 5 or 6 years old, I was pretty sure, that this is what I wanted to do.
Wow. Who were your idols growing up?
Well, there was Don the Snake Perdome. He was a world champion. He had the Army funny car, and it was just unbeatable. And then there was this other funny car out of Texas called the Blue Max, who could actually race with Don Perdome and beat him on occasion and finally took his championships away from him. So he was pretty much my idol back then.
Wow. So what drew you to funny cars versus, Top Fuel and everything else?
I think because they had a funny car race every single, once a month out here in Irvine at the Orange County Raceway, and they didn't have Top Fuel races. They more just followed the circuit, but funny cars were more entertaining, and there were more of them.
They're so much more fun to watch.
I think at that point is when I really decided, my love for funny cars became back then.
Yeah. Do you know, I'm just curious, I love the name Funny Car, but do you know who even came up with the name? I guess I should look into that.
Excuse me, what was that again?
I said, do you know how they even came up with the name Funny Car?
Well, the best I can tell from the stuff I've watched and the people that have been attributed to me has been way back in the late 60s and early 70s as the class was developing. They were taking kind of stock-looking cars and altering the wheelbase and moving things around and actually looked kind of funny. They just a sheer fact they just didn't look normal. They would take the rear axle and push it way far forward so the rear of the car would hang way out. And I think that's how the name kind of got started.
Wow, that's impressive. Well, let's talk about, so how many races do you race per year?
Okay, well, we have 24 races on the circuit, and then I race in the NHRA Millionaire Series. So we have 24 national events that we race just throughout the United States, between California and Florida and as high as Minnesota and as far over as New Hampshire and up into Seattle and Sonoma. So 24.
Wow, impressive. And I guess, obviously you have such a championship run now and all these different titles. Can you talk about perhaps the one that really meant the most to you?
Yeah. I still look back, and I've won some big races. I've won the U.S. Nationals, which is like the biggest race that we have in drag racing in 2005. And they also have another race that goes along with it that's kind of a specialty race the same weekend. And if you can win them both in one weekend, they give you this big bonus of money plus all the money you win. And I won that in 2005. Financially, that was probably the biggest race I ever won.
How much did you win? Do we know?
What was that again?
How much was the purse in 2005?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure when all was said and done that weekend, we had won about $265,000.
Wow, that's incredible! So, in less than 4 seconds.
For drag racing, that was pretty good. But looking back on it, in 1991, I think in about the fifth race I ever entered, I won the Southern Nationals in Atlanta, Georgia. I was 21 years old in like 2 months, and
wow.
That's probably that. I'm sure that's my most special win. That was like the biggest moment of my career, to be able to win that young and only have that few starts, and basically just get that lucky at that point. I was with my dad, and we won the race, and we had this dream. It was pretty incredible.
That's pretty incredible. I mean, when you talk about the relationship, it was something that you and your dad built together, and that does your dad still participate with you today?
Well, he does. Not on the current car I'm driving. We still have a race shop, though. We still build cars and do work and do licensing stuff and run our personal family car at times with different drivers. But as of after the 2008 season, I started driving for other teams, and right now I'm driving for Connie Coletta and the DHL team out of Michigan.
Oh, wow, impressive. So how do you balance? So I know that you're a big family man and you're a really great father. How do you balance racing and family life?
Well, first off, I married a girl who really liked racing. Probably not as much as me, but she could tolerate it as much as I could. So I got real lucky there. And then we had twin daughters. I have twin daughters who are 13 now, who grew up around the racing, that really love it too. And they love to come to races. They love to hang out. They love the social part of it. But then NHRA, they have this cool program called their Junior Dragster program.
Oh, wow.
For young kids. And we didn't have that when I was kids, but they both came to me and wanted to do this. So I have these little junior dragsters for them that we race on off weekends. And they run about a little over 80 miles per hour.
Oh, my goodness. At 13?
At 13. Well, actually, they were running 80 miles an hour. They were running over 70 at 10 years old. And they just turned 13, and now they're running over 80. And they compete, and there's lots of kids out there doing it.
Wow.
It's a great little program. And most of the kids I race today, coming up through the ranks, have been through this program. You look at your Pro Stock World Champion Erica Enders and Sean Langdon and Spencer Massey and J.R. Todd and all these guys and all these people I race today. They all came through the junior dragster ranks, and they turned into great, incredible racers.
Well, so your daughters might be like the next dynamic duo.
You never know. I mean, who knows? We actually have a race down in San Diego area this weekend, so I'm preparing for that right now.
Wow. So how do you feel about that? I mean, obviously you've raced your whole life, and you see your daughters race. I mean, when they get in the car, how do you feel? Do you still worry? I mean, you're a parent.
No. I've been through a lot of stuff myself, and I've been lucky and fortunate to kind of get through it. I've spent a little bit of time in the hospital, and I know the safety of the cars. I built the cars myself, along with my dad. We've done everything we can do to make them safe, and I just remind them, that it's not a toy. It is a race car, and it's going 80 miles per hour, and they do need to be careful, because it could hurt them if they're not careful. But no, I'm pretty competitive, and so are they, and we're out there trying to win.
Oh, good. Very cool. Well, that I think that's really interesting. So let's talk about that. I mean, as a parent, can you talk about maybe some life lessons that racing has kind of shown you?
Yeah, sure. I learned, at a real young age, especially racing bicycles, BMX racing around Orange County here. I kind of learned how to, and as sad as this is, how to lose, and be a decent loser. You don't have to be happy about losing, but you also don't want to be a sore loser. And I kind of learned from BMX racing how to take a loss and build on that and try and do better and become a winner and don't pout. I also learned that hard work pays off. I learned that in BMX racing. The harder I trained and the more I ran and the more I practiced, the better I was at it. So those kind of rules just kind of applied to drag racing also.
So that's interesting. I mean, it is a sport. So how do you train for sport like racing?
Well, luckily, drag racing is really an endurance sport. It's more of a mental sport, where you really have to be focused and concentrate, and don't let distractions, pull you out of your game or basically distract you. So you learn focus, you learn how to concentrate, and you what else actually going for drag racing that I learned there. That's the biggest thing I took from.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, do you do stuff like yoga? Or I know, like, I interviewed my good friend Randy Jackson. He was saying he does meditation so they can get to a point where he can just completely focus. Do you do anything like that?
No, I try to stick to a routine all the time, and that way I don't forget anything, or I don't lose a routine, and everything comes second nature to you. I try to do cardio. I try to keep myself in decent shape. That way we have a minimum weight on the car, so you want to be able to take a little bit extra weight you have and kind of place it around the car in different places where maybe you need more traction or less traction. But the biggest thing I try to do mostly is just routine, and try and keep everything the same and don't let anything get out of the ordinary.
Do you go like I guess I'm curious. Like, so when you sleep at night, sometimes do you actually dream when the light goes on and you gotta hit go?
I don't remember my dreams that well. My wife has a perfect, she can remember her dreams, to a T. She remembers every little detail there is. And unless it's something right as I'm going to wake up, I don't really have a whole lot of memories of my dreams. So not a whole lot of dreams of that. No.
That's awesome. So I guess this is really cool. So basically, the whole family is involved with racing, and the kids love it just as much as you do. So this is incredible. It's like a racing family. You made the right choice in wife, for sure.
Yeah, well, between my dad being involved in it, and then myself, and then my girls, and my wife, and I have a sister who's been following me the whole entire time. Both my sisters come out and watch. My grandma came to every single race at one point for 6 straight years until she passed away. She followed me on the circuit for years and was just a huge supporter of mine. So yeah, it's pretty much been part of my it's been part of my life. It's been part of me my entire life.
Well, you've just done such an incredible job. I mean, I have basically 3 pages of listing of the awards that you've won in racing. It's incredible. I was kind of blown away. I mean,
Thank you.
Yeah, it's what you have done is nothing short of a huge feat. So something certainly to be proud of. And I'm sure your daughters are just so proud of you too, and everything that you've accomplished. So I guess what's next for you?
Well, I want to race and win a funny car world championship, NHRA Millionaire championship, and then after that, if I can pull that feat off, who knows? I really want to try my hand, as a crew chief and a mechanic again, and try and help some of these young racers come up. I have a couple of cars I use for licensing. I have a funny car and a top fuel car of my own with my dad. We use to train young people and get them up and running. Working pretty hard at that school right now, and I don't know, just kind of see where it takes me. Just kind of see what happens to drag racing.
Yeah, that's remarkable. I mean, the fact that you're helping your daughters now it just goes to show you that you're paying it forward. So this is exciting times. I think that if we have more people like you as examples in racing, I think more young people will get involved. This is great, and you're an incredible dad.
I hope so. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. I try. I have wonderful daughters. I have a great wife. My entire family supports me. That helps a lot. I race for a great team, so I really have no complaints in life right now. It's going well.
Well, we'll keep it going, and then let us. We definitely are going to keep following your journey very carefully. And with that, I mean, how can we continue to follow your journey? What's the best way to keep in touch with you?
Well, a couple different ways. We have NHRA.com where they give all the results of all the events. Coletta Motorsports, they have a website where they keep up on me also. So those are probably 2 best ways. ESPN2 every Sunday night. We're on ESPN2. They show a lot of them are live. A lot of them are just like maybe a 1 or 2 hour tape delay. So every Sunday evening we're on ESPN2 racing, and that's about the best way to keep up with me.
Yeah, and the great thing for those of you who know, Dell's also on social media. So I reached out to him on Twitter, and he responded. So I definitely encourage you to follow him on Twitter too.
Sure, yeah. All the social media sites.
Yeah, he's on everywhere, but such a big deal and such a nice guy. And not only that, I mean, you can tell what a family man he is. So my hat goes off to you for sure. And I will certainly be watching your next race because I I'm a huge fan. When I saw, when my producer told me we're going to interview, I was like, oh my goodness, that's awesome. I've been following him. So funny cars, definitely not a funny business. Very serious and very, very interesting. So those of you who have never seen Del race, definitely encourage you to all you have to do is type in his name on YouTube and you'll see it's incredible. And so this is Winnie's son. Thank you, a huge thank you to Del Worsham for being on our show today and for tuning in, those of you listening, for the Renegade Millionaire Show. To learn more about me, always feel free to check me out at winniesun.com. And those of you who do listen to the show know I'm very active on Twitter, and that's at SunGroupWP. And with that, thanks again. Talk to you next time. Thank you, Del.